One of the most unexpected things that has happened since starting this YouTube channel is the number of companies reaching out to me with a product or service and asking if I'd like to review it. Mostly they're really obscure and completely unrelated to my channel in any way, but sometimes they're quite interesting and unique. Hopefully this is one of the latter ones. This is the Mars M1, made by a company called Hollyland. I hadn't heard of them either. And as you can see from the box, it's a monitor. Now, I already have a monitor that I'm quite happy with, so for me to want to do a review of one, there has to be something a little bit extra, a little bit special. And the trick up the sleeve that this monitor has might be an absolute game changer for the way that I make videos, and maybe for the way that you make videos too. So I said, sure, send it over and I'll test it out. And just so you know, they are not paying me for this. Chance would be a fine thing. And they're not telling me what to say. I am completely free to say it is a complete bag of spanners if I want to. But fortunately, it's not. In the box you get a screen protector, the monitor itself, a D-tap power lead, which is super cool that they've included that so you can run the monitor off a V-mount style battery, a little after sales card thingy, a quick start user manual with some of the smallest text you're ever likely to see, and a little USB-C to USB-A adapter for updating the monitor and installing LUTs. One of the first things I noticed picking it up for the first time is just how well made it feels. It's got this kind of chunky kind of density to it, where it's got this kind of, you know, that kind of well-made weight that you feel or associate with something that's well made. It's partly plastic, partly metal, but it's not that kind of cheap plastic that bends and warps and stuff. You know, as I said, there's a real density to it. You feel like you could probably drop this thing and it'll survive quite well as long as you don't land on the screen. It's got this kind of nice frosted, textured kind of anti-grip surface to it that feels nice in the hand. Probably quite useful if you're out and about and you get a bit of moisture on it or some sort of grease on your fingers or something. So all in all, I'd give it top marks for build quality. Really does feel, you know, chunky, professional. No problems there on that front. It has a 5.5-inch HD touchscreen, pretty standard for a monitor of this size. Apparently it's professionally color calibrated straight out of the factory. It has a HDMI in and out, which can take up to a 4K 30p signal. It has mounting points on the bottom and the right hand side, a USB-C port and a headphone jack. Surprisingly, but very welcomed, an SDI socket, meaning this monitor is compatible with pretty much any camera out there. It's great they've included this professional connection option. It has DC power in and out so you can run other accessories from the monitor, and of course it has the slot for the Sony NP-F style batteries to power the monitor. When it comes to operating, it's really simple to use, which is just the way I like it. Attach a battery, hold in the power button for 3 seconds to power it on, then attach it by HDMI or SDI to the camera. Tap the screen once and it brings up the options along the bottom. You can scroll through them left and right to see all the different functions that it has there. And it's got all the ones that you would expect. You've got things like false color, peaking, focus assist, histogram, waveform, and it's got some that I didn't expect anyway in terms of anamorphic de-squeeze. And once you tap one of them, it'll come up on the screen and you can move it wherever you want. Drag it around, place it where you feel like. And you can load up to 5 dot cube LUTs onto this monitor via the USB. There's actually 5 on there already to begin with, although they are all for Sony or Canon. No love for Blackmagic there. I actually recommend anyone who's got a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, the 6K or even the 4K, to invest in a good quality monitor. Even if you've got the flip out screen on the 6K Gen 2 or the 6K Pro, having a good quality monitor can be a real help with these cameras, particularly if you want to get down on or get to the side of the camera, get an angle where that flip screen doesn't give you access to it, particularly if you're shooting in cramped conditions up against a wall or something like that. It can be a massive bonus. And of course, if you're doing something like this where you need to film yourself, then you can't flip that screen up and around. There's no way of doing anything like that. So getting a good quality monitor that you can spin around, have it mounted in different parts of the camera or the tripod, out on an arm to one side, It's such a big advantage, and it really is a necessity. And it's one of those pieces of equipment that you can keep for years going forward with other cameras, different brands, different makes. It'll last you longer probably than your camera body will. And that leads me to the USP, the unique selling point of this monitor, because it's not just a monitor, but it's also a wireless video transmitter and a receiver. If you have two Mars M1s, you can send a HD video signal through the air from one unit attached to the camera to the second unit being used as, say, a director's monitor or a focus puller's monitor, or both, because you can actually have one transmitter and two receivers, so 3 units in total all working together. They all have access to the same exposure and video assist tools as each other, but they don't interfere with each other. So you could have, say, the focus puller monitor having the focus assist outlines on it. You could have the director's monitor with the rule of thirds set up on there, while the camera operator is using the false color. You're probably thinking something like that's all very well and good, but I don't have the money, Chris, to invest in 2 monitors. I can only really afford to buy one. Well, the good thing is that you don't need to have two to have two. You don't need to have two to have two. You don't have to have two to have two. You know what I mean? You don't need 2 of them, because you can actually use the HollyView app to turn your mobile device into a receiver for the video signal. You can have up to 4 mobile devices receiving from one Mars M1 unit. The app has nearly all the functionality of the monitor in terms of the tools, with the addition of being able to take screenshots and save them to your camera roll. And you can even record the video signal. It can do all of this at a distance of up to 450 feet or 150 meters, all at a latency speed of 0.08 seconds. Right, so that's obviously in ideal conditions, but I've come out into the real world to give it a test to see just how far away I can get and still keep a signal. Let's see. Still got a signal. Still got a signal here. It's quite wet here today. Right, in bright sunlight here now. Probably about 30 meters away. And I've still got perfect signal, no problem. Wonder if we can get up to the football pitch. Let's keep going. Still got signal. Still okay. I'm actually really small and shot now, but I've still got a signal right here. No problem. Now I've lost signal. Out of range now. So it still says I'm connected, but the app has stopped working. Let's see if I'll reconnect at some point. Oh, we're back. Down here, let's see if I go this way. So this seems to be the limit of the range, which is what probably, I don't know, I'm not an Olympic athlete, but I reckon there's probably 70 meters, something like that. Let's see if I head this way again. Nope, gone. Let's see if I walk back. I'm back again. So this is definitely the line where I start to lose the picture, and it just drops out completely. There's no kind of loss in video quality where it starts to stutter or pixelate or whatever. It just completely drops out, becomes a black screen. So I'll pace this out, coming back and see how far away it is in paces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 56 and a half steps, whatever that is. Now, as I said just there, those figures were in perfect line of sight conditions. I wasn't sure what was going on where I was. It seemed pretty okay. And of course, that was with 2 monitors, the recommendations there. I don't know what the recommendation is for a video signal going to your phone, your iPad or whatever, but that sort of distance seemed pretty good to me. I mean, how far away do you actually want to be from it? I was that far away that I couldn't actually really see the camera anymore. I could just about see the tripod. So, do you need to go any further than that? I don't think so. I wouldn't need to go any further than that. You wouldn't be able to see the set or what anyone was doing from that sort of distance. So if this is a fully independent review, then I should be able to say that there are some things with this monitor which are not brilliant. But really, there's not that much that I could really complain about. It's pretty good all around. My only concern is the fact that the screen is only 1,000 nits. A lot of the more recent monitors that are coming out on the scene are up around the 2,000 mark, sort of 1,500 to 2,200 nits, which means they're ideal for looking at and viewing in bright sunlight conditions. 1,000 seems like a kind of generation ago in terms of the brightness of screens on field monitors. So I would have liked it to be a bit brighter than that. Now, you're probably going to get away with it. It's probably fine. I used it outdoor and I could see it perfectly well, but it was kind of England with typical overcast conditions. It wasn't super bright. If you live in Saudi Arabia or somewhere, or out in Arizona where you're in the desert all the time, then maybe you're going to have to invest in the optional sun hood. But yeah, you can work around it. For the benefits that you get from this monitor, it's probably worth having to work around that 1,000 nits brightness rather than go for something else that doesn't have the built-in wireless transceiver. So why did I say that this monitor was a game changer to me? Well, I spend a lot of time now filming myself with this YouTube channel. It's not something I thought that I'd ever be doing. I've always seen myself as more of a behind the camera type of person. Probably got the face for being behind the camera rather than in front of it. But yeah, now here we are, and this is what I do. And I had absolutely no idea how hard it is filming yourself before I tried it. It's not just twice as hard, it's like 10 or 20 times harder. There's so much stuff that you have to keep into consideration. You've got all the stuff with the camera, the lighting, the framing, the speeds, the shutter angle, the aperture, all that stuff that you normally have to take care of, which is more than enough anyway. And then you have all the performance side of things, just simple things like hitting your mark. Am I looking the right way? Did I pull the right expression at that point? It's really, really hard. That's all I want to say. If you've tried it, you know that it's hard. And that's even if you've got a monitor that you can turn around and adjust. Sometimes you just can't look in that direction. You're facing one way, you've got the camera at a different angle. You can't see that. So the ability to actually have a wireless video signal straight to my mobile phone, I can hide my phone somewhere, I can have it out of shot, but somewhere where I can see, and I can actually check whether I'm in focus. Have I hit my mark? Am I got, like at the start of this video, it took ages to record that, but with the advantage of having that feed to my phone continuously, I could set it up and hide it away, and then I could see, oh yeah, I'm looking the right direction. Oh yeah, I'm look over there. Oh, I've actually need to move out a kind of inch or two more from the door. I can't just stay where I am. It's such a big advantage being able to see what you're doing. But of course, what's game-changing to me might not be anything to you. Maybe you don't film yourself. Maybe you just do corporate videos or music videos or whatever. But I still think that this monitor gives you an advantage over a standard monitor because you've got the ability to send a wireless feed out to clients, people on the set, anyone who really needs to see it. You can just tell them to download the app on their mobile phone and they can look in. Now, I know you don't always want to have clients being able to see what you're doing, but in a lot of cases you do. And of course, you might want to have a camera assistant being able to look at what's going on, or a focus puller or something. So there's big advantages on having this all built in to the one unit rather than having a separate transmitter and receiver and extra wires and extra batteries and all those things that you have to think about. Just having it all nicely and neatly tied up in one unit. And then, as I said, you can buy a second and third unit if you want to. If you're a business, you can write that expense off. Or if you're not, an iPad, you've already got it. Most people have got a mobile phone. Download that app. And then, hey, they can be checking in on it. The client can check and say, oh yeah, I sign that off. I think that's a massive advantage over a normal monitor. For one Mars M1, the price is $549 US dollars, and there is a kit or a bundle where they come together. I'll put the price for that up on the screen now. But having a great monitor is only one of the essential accessories that I would say you need to have with a Blackmagic cinema camera. If you want to know the others, then check out this video here. If not, thanks for watching and getting this far. I'll see you again.